Friends, thank you for watching my channel. I just want to remind you, if you need wallpaper, go to www.wallpaperboulevard.com. Tell them Spencer sent you. In fact, if you use my hashtag, Spencer Colgan is wallpaper, they'll be sure to give you 10% off at your checkout. No matter how much you order, they have a wide selection of wallpaper. Check it out. Tell them I said hello and enjoy your discount. So you go around your windows and everything's working out perfectly until you get to the last one. And your ceiling is 3/4 of an inch lower on one side of the room than over there. And your wallpaper's off because of having gone around the window. Now, friends, let me explain. There are many reasons why your wallpaper doesn't meet up. One of them can be the guy hanging it. Another reason can be the wallpaper. Another reason can be what's called a pregnant wall. When you have a belly in the wall, it consumes wallpaper, and consequently, after the belly, you find that right after it, the wallpaper doesn't match up. Another reason could be the exact opposite of a belly. You have something called a whip, where it goes in, and then wallpaper gets consumed by the wall differently. Imagine your wall consumes wallpaper. If it's flat, well, it just takes wallpaper perfectly. But when you join it to its next sheet and the wall is different, either having a belly or a skinny tummy, so to speak, the wallpaper will necessarily not meet up. It will not meet up because the wall is not plumb, particularly next to one that is, and so therefore it will not meet up. Another reason for wallpaper not meeting up is when you go around a window, the wallpaper, once you cut the wallpaper, the constitution of the wallpaper, literally the makeup of it, it is no longer holding itself in place. And therefore, when you go around windows, as you'll see in this video, we make numerous splices through the material. Consequently, your wallpaper necessarily relaxes. I'll give you an example. Has any of you ever cut a 2x4 and then try to put the piece back together? Let's say you cut a 2x4 by 12-foot piece of 2x4, and you cut it. Try to join it exactly the way it was. I guarantee you will not only see where you cut it, you will feel where you cut it, because the wood is no longer constituted together as one unit. And when you cut it, it breaks apart and it's no longer holding itself in place. Think of now the wallpaper doing the same thing, and you'll understand why when you go around windows after making splices in the wallpaper, you can be off up to an inch. Okay, let's get back. Now we're going to go in this video from the mess that you're looking at here. The only thing you can do is cut through it and eliminate the paper to this. Because if you push it up, isn't this an amazing difference? We had to do surgery here. We had a buckle. We had to cut it out, then overlap the paper to see how much we needed to remove and replace. We cut the buckle out, overlapped the paper, and then spliced in new large pieces to replace the incredible mismatch resulting from this window. Now the ceiling being off, it doesn't matter. You can't do anything about the ceiling. It's that your pattern might be off. But to make matters worse, you come around the window and the wallpaper doesn't meet up. And you wind up with a massive buckle in the wallpaper and you can't do anything about it except to eliminate it in order to keep your pattern straight at the top and below. But in between, you have a buckle. And the only thing you can do is cut through it and eliminate the paper. Because if you push it up, this is going to be way off, which it was. If you push it down, it's going to be way off below. So because most people are just under 6 feet tall, you want to cut it. And you want to cut it above the 6 foot level. Now, I could have cut it here and here, but I chose the vertical pieces because it's easier to paint these colors in and make it match rather than going through something like this. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So I colored them in. And I could get paint and use different colors that match. But I said, let me see if I just put this over it. Okay. Because I wasn't crazy about it. Let's just see. Okay. I can put that over it. Okay. We'll eliminate this, see? We'll eliminate this white thing so that we can see the other leaf under here. But just for now, let's just see. The issue is right there, right? Then I said, let's see. See these three together here? Let's see. Let's see now. Let's just see how this looks. It's tricky, you know? It's kind of tricky when you have the structure not cooperating. Now, we're putting this over just to get the idea how it's going to look if we should go this route. Now, here's the thing. If you go this route, you have to inlay these pieces. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Friends, I wanted to show you how detailed this work is by showing you the preceding attempted repair before I showed you what I wound up doing. I abandoned this. I left this on a Saturday or Friday, came back on Monday, and completely abandoned this method of repair. It wasn't perfect and I wasn't happy with it. And so I just wanted to show you some of the details that went into it without boring you too much. because I wanted to show you what I tried to do, because it may work for you to replace individual parts where your wallpaper is mismatching, rather than do what I'm about to show you. Okay, it is, all right, I last recorded this issue on Saturday. Sunday passed, today is now Monday, and I was thinking about this over the weekend, and some of you may have thought about it yourselves. And here's what I decided to do. I'm going to cut this whole thing out. And I'm going to cut this whole thing out. Here's why. I'm not going to go through all the time, because you see, that one looks great. I mean, look at how nice it looks. And with a little paint, you can, but what do we got here? At least 15 of these things? I'm not even going to count them, but that's a lot. I'm just going to replace this whole thing and this whole thing. And I'm going to superimpose a brand new one from another sheet, okay? Because look, I don't want you to think that this is your fault if this happens to you. I certainly want you to know it's not my fault. When you go around windows, first of all, you're always making sure everything is plumb after you come off of one of these windows. If you come here, you got to make sure this is plumb. This is plumb. But I don't know if you can see it, but there's a natural slope in the ceiling, which wouldn't affect here. Wouldn't affect there. It would just affect the pattern at the top. But coming off of these corners puts stress onto this area and this area. Anybody who hangs paper for a living knows exactly what I'm talking about. And boy, were we off. I don't know, maybe it had to be more than an inch. I didn't measure it. I certainly could now. We could measure what's missing in this thing, and we'll see when we put its duplication on top of it. We'll see how far it exceeds it, and that will know exactly how much we're off. And so we're going to have to color it in, because if we're off, then certainly what we superimpose is going to pass all of the branches lengthwise, which is fine, but it's going to add to the height. So we got to see how it looks, but it's certainly going to be better than filling in these individual veins. But look, you're coming right off the staircase here. Look at what you look at, the first thing you say. This has to be right. I mean, far away, you don't see anything, right? But listen, I'm a perfectionist. I hold my customers to the highest standards from my perspective, the business perspective, and I don't expect any less from them holding me to the highest standards. So this is something, you get snagged into. It's certainly not something I want to spend my time doing, but this is the challenge. And this is why when you're a paper installer, you can't get stuck giving out low prices and then you get stuck on something like this. This can set you back a half a day. Because here's what's going to happen. I got this one. Now, has anybody thought what's going to happen to this? If you alter this, then certainly the meetup on this sheet is going to be altered until we get to that corner, and we can dismiss it here. This will be a new sheet. But certainly the piece that goes next to it, we have voided some of the pattern here. Necessarily, we had to do it. So this sheet is going to be looking for the pattern over here and won't be able to find it. So now we got to play with this one too, but only one of them, because one of these will get me over to the corner, and then we cut it in the corner and move on. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace these big pieces, okay, with this. So you can see that it's meeting up on top perfectly. But since we necessarily voided the wallpaper in the middle here, you know, you're not going to get a perfect meet up here. But we don't need the wallpaper all the way down here. So now we have to decide where we want to cut it. So it's going to fit perfectly somewhere, either at the top or the bottom. Your pattern will determine where you cut it. Some patterns will give you trouble like this. It's not fun. But look, if you get stuck in this situation, you know, you're dealing with a liability. People being unhappy, it's a liability. Okay? So we're working the paste into this product, okay? Okay? And so we're not done even after we cut this into our pattern. We're not done because we need to make this look like it fits. And so we can expect some coloring pencils or some paint. I like paint. Even though the coloring pencils, they don't wash off. I like paint because I don't want to be getting a call back a month later when the cleaning lady wiped something down and the color came off, you know. I just don't want to hear it. But somewhere up near a ceiling, by all means, use a coloring pencil. That's what they're there for. So anyway, if you hang paper for a living, you want to tell your customers, you know, I'm not deceiving you here. I may have to color some of your color back onto the paper. I work with very fine wallpaper, believe me. Not any of it is worth the money they charge for it. None of it. And color comes off the most expensive products. You know? So let's back up, which would be fair to me, right? You see? That's why we did this. You can see that we're now simulating the real deal, right? We're simulating the real deal. In other words, this is very close to perfection. Okay, let's cut this. So remember, we're just looking to get this thing, and this thing in the picture. So let's take a peek under it. Look at, I'm pretty good here, right? So if I go around this white, I should be pretty good, don't you think? Right? So we don't want to start involving other parts of the pattern to find out that we're not matched up with that. Then we're going to open up a can of worms. You see this branch right here? Just follow me. See this one? Let's see where the other one is under it. What do you think? It's a little above it, but that's fine. We know we're not going to be on top of it. We want to be on top of it, but we know we're not going to encompass the whole thing because we voided the pattern. So this piece, it's now like, without being gross, just picture a man losing 5 inches of his height and just shrinking him down, and then taking the bones which were displaced and putting them over on top of his legs. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to be where they used to be. They have been replaced by the material moving downward. And so this is not going to lay, since the cut is in here, this will meet up. We can expect this to meet up. But certainly, so don't be worried that one of the ends doesn't meet up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Look, we're pretty good here, actually. Actually, we're pretty good at below. So therefore, I'm going to say we're not meeting up at the top for that reason. But wish me luck. I'm going to cut this thing. Dry off my hands. No, not at all. I don't mind. Ooh, how was that? I flipped the blade around. I'm gonna try to stay in this white. See that? This is a real nail biter. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing it. I don't like doing this. Okay, what do you think? Okay, now. Now remember, we're not perfect yet, okay? We aren't perfect yet. Okay, this is scrap. And the top is scrap. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at what we're looking at. Look at this. Oh man. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy with this. Now we gotta get it off. Now, you might say, Spencer, why'd you wait the weekend? You try to do this when that piece underneath is wet, you'll blow it. Unfortunately, in my experience, it's easier to do when it's dry and stiff. Look at that. Look at the perfection right there. Look at that. Can you see it? You see this branch right here? Follow it to the top. It's perfection. Oh my goodness, I'm very happy. All right, let me take it off and do a little wallpaper removal job and then put it back in place. See what you think. I want to record it. I don't want you guys thinking I'm doing anything off camera. See that? See that? Okay. Now, folks, if you're ever disinclined to do a wall prep job, you say, I'll cut corners. And then if you got to remove the paper, you're in trouble. You want your walls to look like that if you're removing it. Okay? Word to the wise. Prep your walls. Okay, so my customer's here. So you don't really want to be doing surgery in front of the customer. So you want to tell them afterwards, hey, I did surgery on it. I bet you can't find it. This is not about deception. It's about perfection. And, you know, your customers, they don't understand. They don't. They just want a perfect job as best as you can do it. So, but if you had the chance to not do this in front of your customer, I highly recommend that. Just so they don't get nervous and like, oh my gosh, what's going on? To explain this is, you know, not something you want to be doing when you need your time. Okay, once you get it off, and you got all that paper off, and I do mean all of it, put your piece back in. Let me get the piece that fits in. This is a close call, baby girl, 'cause everybody's watching me now. anything, sir? What's going on? Do what I say, not what I do. Okay. Nice. For those of you who watch my channel, you know that I get choked up. Okay, that's the Frankenstein version thus far. You know what I mean by that. It's just put on. It's like when they do a transplant of a face, they just put it on and they step back. See how it's gonna look. Is anybody crying with me? It's okay if you are. I think you would agree that this is the way to go. Now, before I congratulate myself, take a look. This one, that one. See that? Looks a heck of a lot better. Now, you can see what I meant when I said that when I put the second sheet on, it's going to manifest the same differential of space displacement. This is how much material we had to displace. Here's why. This wall is not straight. I don't like the term, they call it a pregnant wall. If this wall comes out a bit here and a bit here over this cut, it consumes more material. If this wall is perfectly flat and the next sheet goes over a bow in the sheetrock, you can consume a good 3/4 of an inch of wallpaper by having that belly. You'll never see it to the human eye, but it will manifest itself in this. This is not the wallpaper hanger, and this is not the wallpaper either. You know, this is what you might see in if you use different batch numbers. Look, you see this? You might see that. Okay. So you can see that she meets up down here, and it meets up there, right? You agree? Just follow this line right here. But this is our issue, and so we're going to remove something that doesn't significantly affect its matchup, because we did good here. You would agree, right? You would agree? So wish me luck, okay? I'm going to continue. Okay. I got my wallpaper in place. Let me back up. So she meets up there. Let me move the ladder so you can really see this. She meets up there. We come all the way up. Look, I mean, please don't comment. You should have returned the wallpaper. This happens more often than you think. Your seam is in the center of your screen. Meets up. Perfection, perfection, perfection. We're off. That has nothing to do with the window. It's the pattern. But I'll tell you, you'll return half of the wallpaper that you hang if you're going to return it for that. And so this is what I expected. We're perfect here. Now we get to our buckle. We're going to displace wallpaper, and we're going to somehow, without affecting this connection, we got to get rid of this middle piece. I would like to do it above where there's more white, but I can't. And then when we get to the top, check this out. We're off again. We're off. So what I intend to do, since it only manifests itself right up here, mostly at the top. I mean, look at how much that's off. I'm going to cut that one out and put a new one in. Terrible, right? I hate it. What a time killer. We're going to cut this down the middle. And we can always play with corners, making them look like they match perfectly. I'm not worried about the corner. Let's cut this. Okay. Wouldn't you just like to leave it like this, right? What a pain. But I'll tell you what, you start hanging this stuff in people's houses, you're gonna run into this problem. You really got to be familiar with how to do this. You see, I would love to just correct this with paint. It's a lot of work otherwise, you know? And if you can, by the way, you gotta go with the paint. Don't be pulling this apart. I simply did it. I hope I explained sufficiently in the beginning of the video or on this Monday when I started taping today why I went to doing this. The time consumption alone and pulling out every vein is just absurd. But if only one or two of them off, that's the way to go, you know? Okay. So let's look from a distance, okay? Folks, if this were in a corner, I'm telling you, somewhere over there, down there, we'd be handling this a much different way. Don't forget, we're coming off of a staircase here. And this is the first couple of sheets you're looking at. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm afraid to this is meeting up very nicely, this whole thing. I don't want to take this off. I'm only gonna be taking off, look, this meets here, this doesn't meet, this meets. So I'm thinking about this, okay? I'm gonna be thinking. I gotta think. I can't make the decision that quickly. I'm gonna think about this. So we'll take this off, right? And then, but these don't meet up. So here's what I might do. Leave these intact, right? You agree? These meet up. This doesn't. So we gotta get rid of this thing right here. But this meets up. We gotta leave this intact. So we might do one of these. Check it out. Take this off right down to the stem. And then boom. 1, 2, 3. What do you think? You agree? But then we got these off. We can easily replace this. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. Get rid of this thing, replace this one, and then replace part of this, leaving part of it alone. That's my plan. Looking a lot better. Okay, now let's deal with this fiasco. You see the issue here, right? I mean, that looks like Frankenstein from 10 feet away. In fact, the further away you get, the worse it looks. Okay. Spencer, why don't you have a helper? Can I tell you why? Big difference between a guy who doesn't own his business and a guy who's just working for you. A lot of cigarette breaks. My wife, she's pregnant. My wife, she's this, she's that. The hospital, all of a sudden hospitals. I gotta go to the hospital. When? Monday morning. It's Friday night, how do you know? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go. And anyway, helpers know nothing about hanging paper, and they couldn't care less. So, you can keep them. And then they get upset if you should say something like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, what are you doing? I don't like the way you talk to me. I don't like the way you spoke to me. I had a guy who spoke to me through his wife. He doesn't like the way you speak to him. Where is he? He don't want to speak to you. Huh? All right. Okay, we got issues here. Let me mend this off camera because it's hard to do with one hand, and then we'll get back. Okay, I made my decision what we're gonna do. Here's the deal. Let's recap. Our mismatch is in the center here. See this thing? So keep this line in mind. Middle of this thing. So we're messed up underneath this. We're messed up. You see that? A mess. So now we put this over here and we got to see, is this what we want? Okay. Do we meet better up underneath? We meet better up underneath. See? So we want to leave this intact. We don't want that. It's off. Okay. So here's what I've decided to do. This is perfect. This is all perfect here. I don't want to mess with this. Where we get messy is here. This piece. So here's what I need to do. I need to cut through this. See, because that's a perfect match. So I want to cut through this, bring it into this green, make it dye into here. You're not going to notice that. And then I'm going to try to like go up here and cut it along this white. Okay, that's the safest place to cut, so we're not going to mess up any leaves. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I cut through it. Okay, let's get rid of what we don't want. Remember, this met up. No need for this thing. All right? Okay. It gets tricky. You forget, like, what's staying and what's not. Right? This was good, so we want to get rid of this. Right. Okay. Gets tricky, people. I'm telling you, it gets so tricky. Oh, man. Okay, now, obviously, let's use our heads. This is all good. This is all good. Okay, we wanted that. Okay, so we needed to get rid of this, remember? It's good here, but it's not good there, right? So what I'm saying is it's easy to forget. So try not to forget what's staying. It gets to be a pain in the butt, I'm telling you. It gets tricky, especially if you got people watching you, which is not the case here. I only have you guys watching me. And if I mess up, I just erased the video. Oh yeah, getting back to workers. Every time I corrected this one guy, he'd go, That's what he would do. Tell me that wouldn't grate on your nerves. Okay, so we gotta do we gotta paint this. This isn't good. But, you know what? We might get, I'm telling you, gets involved. We might get a leaf, and a leaf. We'll see. We'll see. It beats having the whole line messed up. Okay, so now this is all good. We just have to, where is our issue? It's right there. So, we gotta do a little more surgery. Okay, I made my cut off camera with this. I went following the white line. Can't go wrong. If I cut too close to this leaf, I might have a double underneath it. You keep looking. As you cut, you look under. Cut again, look under. Okay, let's see. Get rid of this. We don't need this. Okay, how do we do here? Okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. so nerve-wracking because there's so many pieces to it. It's real nerve-wracking, trust me. Garbage. Okay. And then what adds to the stress is if you're a YouTube star, people are expecting perfection. You know? Spencer, you're a YouTube star. I want you to wallpaper my whole house. Pressure's on. So, this woman called me this morning and she said, I really liked your profile online. It's so nice. I said, oh, thank you. I always act like I don't know what they're talking about. She said, can you wallpaper a powder bath? I said, oh, I do quite a few of those. She goes, great. Then she says, can you skim coat it? You know what I said to her? I said, ma'am, that's like asking a cardiologist while you're visiting him for one thing. Can you take my stitches out of my hand? I said, yes, I can do it. She chuckled. We both did. We both chuckled. Alrighty. Hold on a second. It gets real tricky. And forget about the time it takes, man. You know, time. But look at the benefit, right? Look at the benefit you get out of this, honestly. All joking aside. I mean, you know what it is? People are so cheap with their information. They don't share it. If you know how to do this, it's only because God gave you the talent to do it. You may as well share it in this short life so that other people can benefit from it, right? All right. We're going to smooth this out, make it look pretty. And I want to do something up here. I'm not crazy about it. See how we eliminated the stem? We can always add a little paint or pencil marker, whatever. But you wouldn't even complain about that. It's these things gotta match up. Okay. Big difference than the issue we had, right? I gotta tell you about my mail lady who brings the mail. I think she hates me. I got an issue with her once a week. Can you trim these bushes? That's 1 week. The next week is, you're trying to sell this car, but it's blocking the mailbox. It's like literally nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I said, are you suffering from the effects of COVID? What's wrong with you? Okay, let's wash this up. I'm gonna wash it up. Let's look from a distance. Are you crying yet? It's all right if you are. They're tears of joy. So anyway, the customer just told me that she was very happy with me. I told her. I said, I'm going to tell you what happened here. I told her. She loves it. Cool. I'm very happy about this. Hey, this isn't easy. That's why I'm kind of joking around, trying to keep your interest, because this stuff is what will make or break you. I'm serious, I'm joking around about it, but
First of all, most paper hangers aren't going to put their time into doing this right, you know? They're just going to freak. And then secondly, I got to say, a lot of them don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it because they just panic and they lose, like, you know, perspective. They're like, this is wrong, this has got to go back. No, you're going to get the same thing. You send this back, you're going to get the same problem when they give you the new paper. May as well handle it now. Right? You agree? Okay, remember now, look at this problem. So let's put something on top of that. We're going to get a new leaf here. Okay. Then we got to come over here. We got to make sure that it fits here. All right. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to try to hide both. That's what we want to do. Okay. Oh man, is this a pain or what? Okay, man.
The whole idea of the
Okay, now.
the whole idea of the sink is that it goes between the two partitions.
Okay. We're gonna let this dry a little bit so she gets a little stiff. Because cutting it while it's wet could be a major, you might like cut it too much or too little. So we're just gonna clean it up and we're gonna fit that in and we're gonna call it a day. It's easy to screw this up. So let's not do that. Okay? We just want this green leaf in here. If I'm successful, what I'm going to try to do is cut along. I'm going to get rid of the white, the excess white, leave this, see this branch? I'm going to leave this in here. And I don't think I can do it holding the camera. So what I'll do is I'll show you what I did by just peeling away what I cut, all right? So this little leaf is going to replace this. But we can't take it all out. Okay. It gets tricky, tricky, tricky. Tricky. Okay. The bottom stays, the top comes out. Now, if you do this, don't try to get it all done in one swoop. Inevitably, you'll be dealing with wet pieces. And you'll be moving perfectly good work. And you'll be, you know, making a mess of it. So go easy. Easy, easy. I'm going to tell you something. It must be good because I had to take a few seconds to find the area where I'm working on. So it must be looking good. Remember, paper hangers are perfectionists. So what you may say looks great doesn't look great to us. Okay. Let's see now. Okay.
Crazy, right? Crazy, crazy guy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? Seriously, what do you think? Do you like it? I'm starting to like it. Now, I don't know about you. I'm loving the way it's come out, but I don't like this. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking it. So I want to see what would happen if I put one of these here. You know, still got this issue. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, that does a nice job. You know what I'm going to do? Check it out. I want this here. Oh, I definitely want that there. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Check it out. I'm going to put this in here, this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, you agree? Look at this. Don't pay attention to this, but look at these two right here, this one and this one. Check this out. Look how much better it looks. Watch. See the issue here and there? Okay, let's do that. Okay. That's what you have right now. Take a good look at it. See, this, I can put color in there. Or put white color and take away the green. But here's the deal with this. Folks, if you're thinking, boy, this is a lot of work, I don't know about this. Hey, this is what happens when you're hanging wallpaper. You know, this happens. And we got to deal with it. Right? So let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. Let's put a tree in here. Yeah, a happy little tree. There are no accidents. What does the guy say? Just happy accidents. Whatever that meant. You know what happened to that fellow, Bob Ross? It's tragic. He developed an acute case of lice in his hair. And he developed an incredible infection. No, I'm only joking. Okay, so I cut through my paper like this. Cut through this one like this. Okay. And now we're gonna remove it. This is the bad. Always gotta keep that in mind. Like what you're actually removing and what you're keeping. Okay. You don't want it to be coming like a... See, we had to get rid of that. You see that? So, peel that back. Come on now, get that out of there. Come on. Oh, man. How far did I go back? Okay. Okay. It's always a nail biter. Okay, let's get rid of that thing. Put in this thing. Now, listen, you gotta use sharp knives, or else it's gonna look like somebody got hit by a train and you stitched up their face. It's not gonna look right. Obviously, right? Okay, let's see what we got there. Now, don't judge a job if you do this yourself. Like, let it dry. You're gonna see saturation marks there. I'm just talking low because I'm doing a lot of work here. For the moment, I lost my tailpiece. I don't know where that is. I gotta find it. It's somewhere over here. This big, oh. Okay, you're the judge. What do you think? What do you think? I'm not gonna tell you where I repaired it. That's up to you if you're following the video. You know where the repair is. I can't even tell myself, to be completely honest with you. So if you can find it, it probably means that you're watching too much YouTube. Okay. I'm done. I'm finished from top to bottom. What do you think? Now, I want to tell those excellent wallpaper installers out there who are looking at this saying, yeah, but look at the time it took you. Let me tell you something. If that's what you just said, you know you're good. You know it and I know it. If you can hang wallpaper like this, you know you're good. Charge more and stop thinking that you can't take the time to do this. If you're good, you're worth it. So you charge accordingly. Don't worry about how much time it's going to take you. And here's another thing. If you get a good customer, I'm telling you, good customers understand. You say, listen, this is what happened after this wall. There's a belly in the wall. There's a this in the wall. There's a bow in it. And you can prove it. You put a straight edge up against it. You got a belly coming out. And it throws your paper off the pattern. I'm gonna need another day or whatever on this. Please, I gotta raise the price. Your estimate is based on a good faith assessment of your time, talent, and treasure. If you should go beyond that, charge more. And if you're not working for people who understand that, you will. You will. There you go. That's how you do it. I don't care how much it took me. You know why? I don't do this for the money. I do it because I love doing it. And people just pay me for what I love. Now, if they're going to underpay me, I'm not going to do it. But my first consideration is, I love this, therefore I'm going to do it. Not, I'm getting paid, therefore I have to do it. See, that's the wrong approach. I mean, I'm not preaching to you. But if you're going in here, I love this. As a consequence of my love for this, I gotta make it right, ma'am. I gotta charge you more money. That's how you do it. Look at that. Look at that. Find the mistakes. Find the problems. Don't you just love it? See you on the next one.